What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Sorry about the wait.
You're good.
All good, bro.
You are good. Sophie, I'll let you kind of kick this one off, and I'll follow your lead for the most part.
Will do. Bro, I see the hair is coming in nice and full.
I appreciate it, man. You see me? You see me?
Although I heard you say the other night that are you going to a barbershop? Because I heard you say that you're thinking about cutting it.
Man, you know, I've been thinking about it, and this is how fate worked out. I texted my old barber. I ain't been to the barbershop since February, like legit, when all this stuff's shut down. I texted him today. Was like, "Are you still cutting at the same place?" And he was like, "About to open up like a brand new shop. Like, come be the first customer." I was like, "Perfect, perfect,
Clean slate."
Yeah, I was like, "Look at timing. Look at timing." So if I'm going to the shop, it's gonna be like
that's good news.
Nobody else, like.
Yep. You think it's gonna be like a ribbon cutting ceremony with like the big scissors?
I hope so, man. I'm really hoping so. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? It's his place, not mine. So I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, overstep my boundaries, but I hope there's a large ribbon.
Appreciate you coming back, bro. It means a lot to us for sure. Still,
of course, man. Appreciate you guys having me.
Much of an honor this time as it was the first time. Obviously, respect your time.
You say not as much of an honor?
I said an equal honor.
Oh, okay. So
75% is mine.
Jeez Louise.
Oh, actually, before we get started, did you happen to hit that restaurant yet?
I have not. Fox Brothers.
Yeah, and have you been there before?
I've seen it, and there was a time I was going to try it. Like, I legit, it was one of like a call, and they were like, "Hey, you know, because like COVID run a little slow." I was like, "I get it," and it was like, "What's the delay?" They were like, "Right now, 90 to 100 minutes." I was like, "I'll call back."
Lost me at 90.
I'll catch you I'll catch you another day. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So not yet, but it is still on the list.
Yes.
Cool.
We will take your review once you've been there.
Bet.
But yeah, man. Obviously respect your time. So whatever's comfortable with you. I think last time we went like about an hour.
Like an hour.
But
won't be much more than an hour. Okay, cool. Good. So.
All right. Well, it's episode 68. If you watched, I believe it is episode 46, we have a returning guest, the legendary Trill Withers. I was gonna say the Patreon stuff, but we'll just get right into it. First and foremost, Trill Withers of Space School.
Check out Laser Wolf Sundays, midnight, Adult Swim.
Yeah, tell us a little bit
about.
How
did that come about?
It was through a friend. Shout out to Judnick. She's a writer and a voice. Judnick Mayer is a voice on the show. And she reached out, her and Henry Bonsu, shout out to him, the creator of the show. They wanted me to do like some voiceovers for the promos. They just started season 2 yesterday. So they want me to do, like, I was in a couple promos, like I moderated a panel for them. And so if they're, fingers crossed, if there's a season 3, might be a regular role in it for old Space School. So we'll see. But until the way we get to season 3 is midnight on Sundays, Adult Swim. People watching.
Okay.
It's also a 10-minute show. Like, I wouldn't steer people wrong. It's a 10-minute show, which is right up my alley.
I was gonna say that's very on brand for you.
Absolutely.
Very efficient.
So do people have to watch the previous, because even growing up, I never watched Space Ghost. So do I have to watch those old ones at all to like try to figure out the jokes?
No, and that's kind of like the beauty of it. Like in the community there, I'm Space School, which is like, if people remember like the old Cartoon Network Space Ghost, but he's the black version. But in their neighborhood, everybody there is black. Like, they got like a Phil Jackson, Kelsey Grant, like all these people, and so it's not like Black Space Ghost or Black Phil Jackson. Once you watch the show, you're like, oh, it's just Phil Jack. He's just black. So it makes more sense when you watch it, but you don't need to, it's not like you have to understand season 1 to it helps, but you don't, it's not like building on each other like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely gonna check it out. And anyone watching or listening to this, check it out. Support the kid for sure. Yeah, how's quarantine life going, man? Like, it's been a few months since we last spoke. So
it's same old, man.
Not much has changed.
Still trying to stay inside. Still trying to listen to the experts, the people much smarter than me. Still hoping that these vaccine rumors are true that are on the horizon. So just trying to stay safe, man. Hope you guys are doing the same.
Yeah, we tried to make our own vaccine, and it certainly wasn't passed. No. And the success rate was alarmingly low. So to your point, I would listen to the other guys who are talking about
to get to a success rate of 100, you got to start with a success rate of like 7 or 8. You know what I'm saying? You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to kill a few people to get a relatively successful vaccine. 100%. That's the American way.
Everyone knows.
Yeah. I will say I will be on the front lines of the people, like when it's given to like the non-emergency people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be an early adopter for sure.
Oh, please. By all means.
I'll take seconds from like anyone who's not taking theirs.
Right. Hand-me-down vaccines. Yeah. It's crazy to me how like it's funny because like sometimes I think like there's no end in sight, because the same people who are like COVID deniers and anti-maskers, right, they're also the same people that are the anti-vaxxers. And it's like, well, if that's the case, we're never going to get out of this.
It's almost
we're trying to get this for you.
It wasn't about the mask at all. Wow, interesting. Maybe you just wanted to be a dickhead. Interesting.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Well, getting into the shooty hoops for a little bit. We got a little bit of everything tonight, kind of like we did the first time around. But thoughts on, the John Wall Westbrook trade?
I want to say shocking, but not like we had heard kind of the rumors, I guess, like beginning of like a couple of weeks ago, it was floated out. To me, it feels what I got from it, and y'all can tell me what y'all got from it. I got from it that Houston is just ready to just pull the Band-Aid off and trade James Harden. That's what I took. Like you're not trading for John Wall, who I love, but he hasn't played in 2 years, coming off an extremely serious injury. Mm-hmm. Trade a guy that literally just made All NBA for John Wall and 1 first-round pick, like that.
Silly.
Yeah, if I'm Houston, that to me signals like, okay, we're just trying to recoup any picks we can get because we know we're about to sell James Harden, probably to the Nets, but to the highest bidder.
Sure.
But for Washington, I like it a lot. I think Russ and Westbrook at the very least will be very entertaining, and they should. I don't see why they won't be in that. Like I know it's the play-in playoffs this year, right, but I don't see why they won't be in that mix.
I think so too. And what's crazy is like when we were talking about this, I think on another episode, like when the news first came out, which was like last week or something. But I'm still like, before I looked at the numbers, I never would have guessed Russ still averaged. I think he averaged like 28 this year, playing with maybe the most like ISO-centric scorer ever, James Harden, which is very impressive. And even more impressive than that, we look back at his stats. His MVP year, triple-double, averaging 30 points. That was crazy. The big story. Then he averaged a triple-double 2 more times.
And nobody, he did it so many times it became a bad thing.
It's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah, like getting a triple-double became bad.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens with Harden. How do you think some of the news as recent as like today is going to hinder his market value, you think? Missing practice.
The latest I saw
in clubs.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the latest I saw was just that he, I guess, just hadn't reported to camp yet.
That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
And I think the other part is he's been doing some extracurricular activities as well.
I mean,
that's various institutions, which isn't wrong.
If you get invited to a little baby's birthday party, you're gonna go. Yeah. I don't think Harden should be getting knocked for that. Nobody in there was wearing a mask. I think they should be getting knocked for that. But it just feels to me like these like superstars, they end up going where they want to go. I don't really have a problem with it, but it's like AD wanted to go to the Lakers. We went through this song and dance, who's going to give up the most, and he ended up with the Lakers. Paul George wanted to go to the Clippers. He ended up with the Clippers. Kawhi wanted to go to the, like, they end up where they're going to go. And like, if Houston wants to play tough, I think they're just going to hurt their own trade value, really. Like, if you flip him now, I think he's got 2 years left. You could get a good haul.
I was going to say,
whatever haul you want.
What do you think would be say he goes to the Nets? What do you think a realistic trade from the Nets would be?
If it's like, again, part of the like AD to LA, Paul George to LA, you'll get to where you want, but it is going to cost you. Like, if I'm Houston, I'm going to need like LeVert, Allen, Dinwiddie, 2-3 pick swap, like all of it. I need like your best offer. It's where he wants to go. He'll probably end up there. So let's not haggle over this 2026 pick protection. Like let's just he wants to be there. Let's just get this done.
That is pretty similar to the AD trade now think about it, because they based the Lakers pretty much just traded the Lakers for AD. Like every notable kid on the Lakers was traded for Anthony Davis.
And it was the right move.
And it was a good move.
One of the funny things that I saw come up, I don't know if you saw this, Tyler. I saw a poll that was like, whose career would you take to this? Or if you could have one of their careers, who would you take?
Great questions, always.
Chris Paul versus Russell Westbrook. I think you're going to side on the same side as us, or at least me. I haven't asked Dan.
I never answered this.
I don't know who these people are. I think I'll go Westbrook. I think he had higher. Like, I mean, he's also had more team. Like, he's been farther than Chris Paul ever has. They've been to the finals. He didn't win, but he's been there. He's had more individual success. So if I had to pick, give me Russ.
Exactly.
I think so. I would think so too. Yeah.
When I looked at it, to this point, Westbrook has been in the league for few years, but he's only made like 40 less million, which he'll obviously catch up to that before it's all said and done. He's won the scoring title twice. I think he's won the assist title twice, and he's been to the finals, and he has an MVP. And he's not known as
like it's.
Yeah. Someone say that's noteworthy accolades.
Yeah, like again, Chris Paul, like a tremendous player, but what's his biggest accolade? Like almost winning MVP, like
State Farm commercials.
Yeah, like almost making it to the finals. Yeah, fine. Him and Carlton Banks, fine actors. But now, I would go Russ.
Almost got into a fight with the Clippers when he came back.
Almost. Yeah. He's like a first ballot, almost Hall of Famer. Like,
almost
very,
fighting.
very good. He's almost really good at a lot of different things, including going to the finals. He's very good at almost getting it. Have they been to the Clippers? They never went to Western Conference Finals, right? The Clippers.
Nope.
That was the big knock on them.
First time he made the conference finals was Houston. Yep.
That's right. That's still so bizarre to me. Like, I didn't realize how underachieving that team was until this year when the Clippers underachieved again. But it gave reason to look back on the previous underachievements.
Common denominator, now coaches in Philly, but I'm not saying.
So
I'm
not
saying,
good for Philly. Yeah,
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Speaking of doctors and vaccines, right back to where we started.
I would not take a vaccine from Doc Rivers.
That's fair. Yeah,
that was the one person that we hadn't discussed it with.
Yeah. No, he was actually the one person on the board who denied our request for our vaccine confirmation.
I could see him doing that.
He's not a fan. So the other bigger move, I guess, a little more closer to home, us in the Boston area, was Gordon Hayward. I still find it strange that he was such a headliner. I've seen it on Twitter multiple times. It's like new faces this year, and it's like KD, Russ, and Gordon Hayward. And it's like one of these guys doesn't quite make as much sense as the other.
Hey, one of these guys got a guaranteed 4-year contract to look forward to.
Very strange.
No all-star games to like.
Yeah, and I saw another one too.
Or one. I think he's got one.
He must have an all-star.
I think he got one.
I think it's just one.
I remember the big story was he got screwed out of a max deal because he didn't reach All NBA.
He didn't get all. Yeah, I think it's last year in Utah. I think he hit it. Hit all-star, not all NBA.
I remember one. It was like It's like Gordon Hayward does know he was signed by Charlotte, not Charlottesville, right? As far as
he'll gonna find some like minds down there. He'll be fine.
He'll fit in just fine.
I put it out there that part of the reason that he signed, it wasn't the money. I don't know if you remember this, Tyler, but I think it was back in September or maybe sometime over the summer. The Hornets radio announcer got fired for tweeting out a certain word by accident.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, interesting how your
you guys hiring?
autocorrect just fills that in for you.
Yeah, Gordon was like, I think he got a raw deal. I'm going to right his wrongs.
He's already thinking about life after basketball. How could you forget? And then you have your Detroit Pistons. I assume you're still I don't know if you're a paid intern with the Pistons or what the deal is lately, but they've been a little active this offseason too.
I mean, I can't speak on the payment situation. It's an open case. I hope you understand.
That's fine.
But yeah, I feel like they've had the worst offseason in the league. I feel like for a while, I saw the vision. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, they traded Luke Kennard for, like, I think, like 19th, 20th pick. It's like, if you're not going to pay him, okay, fine with that. They drafted a center and then signed, like, 3 more centers. They signed
a lot of centers.
They're paying, like, $8 million a year to Mason Plumlee for some reason. Paying $20 million to Jeremy Grant for some reason. Outside that, though, I think they've had a pretty good go of it.
Knocked it out of the park.
Lost Christian Wood for nothing, but outside that, I think they're
they're comfortably the 10th seed in the East. Should be a good season,
more or less.
Even if you put this team in the 90s, they would still be the 10th seed in the East. Like too many centers.
Yeah, I don't.
Very.
It ain't a timing
around the center.
Yeah, this ain't a timing thing. It's a talent thing. Like I didn't like that. Like I liked Bruce Brown. I get why they traded him to the Nets, but I think they got like a 2nd round pick. It's like that's what you get for Bruce. He's gonna have some good moments for the Nets this year. So like a 2nd round pick.
Yeah,
it's not still Dwayne Casey. Sorry, Dwayne Casey isn't the GM, right? He's just the coach.
No, yeah, he's just coach.
I think they missed on the city jerseys too, right? Those are pretty bad.
They missed.
That's the one that says Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, all around.
The Pistons haven't hit on a jersey since like
Grant Hill.
Yeah,
or like
Rip
Hamilton
joints with the horse on the front.
Yeah,
so,
those are nice. What are your thoughts now that I think all the city jerseys are out now? What are some of your favorites and what are some of your least favorites from the city jerseys for this year? And actually, what's your thoughts on city jerseys in general?
I like them. At first, when they were like, I was like, they're coming out with 2 of these every single year. I was like, that seems a bit much. But now it's like, Miami's just like they found something that worked and they're gonna run as they should. Memphis hit it out of the park. Their jerseys are great.
I do like those.
I like the Chicago ones. I like the Chicago's. Those
Spurs.
are 3 that come to mind. I like the Spurs. Yeah, with the color on the
ones
side.
Are okay. Yeah. That's a great color scheme in general. Like those 90s Spurs courts with like the pink, which makes no sense now, but like the pink, teal, and like orange, I think.
I don't know why they did away with it.
I don't either, but like that worked. Yeah.
Of the worst ones.
Detroit's up there.
Probably Detroit. Yeah. I liked Atlanta's too. I thought Atlanta's was solid.
The MLK ones? Is that what they are?
Is that those? I know they can't. I'm thinking like they can't like black, yellow, and red. I don't know if those
they have
the
like
city
10
ones.
Yeah. What about I've seen a lot of heat online about Boston. How do you feel about the Boston ones? Like the rafter jerseys is pretty much what it is. The banner jerseys.
They just look so plain. Like they look like a plain regular Boston Celtics. Like the Celtics jerseys.
Yeah, but it's based off the banner.
That's kind of part of it. Sure.
Right.
Like,
how many franchises get away with just saying, all right, we have all these banners. Might as well put them on our players. Sell them for $120 on Fanatics.
I mean, listen, it'll work. They're going to sell. Yeah. So I get it, but
actually,
a little flair.
I can't picture the Lakers ones now that I think about it. Have the Lakers ones come out?
I think if I'm thinking of I feel like there's been so many like fake Photoshop, like people posting their own work. I think they went like the light blue, like the Minnesota. Like
yes.
Those are okay. I like those too.
Yeah. Those aren't bad. So again, I don't know, like how often do you think they wear city jerseys? Is that like mandated by the league, or you just wear them whenever you want?
That's a good question. I feel like it's probably meant one of those. The league is like, hey, you got to wear these at least.
I know these are ass, but you got to wear at least.
You got to wear these at least 8 times. When we don't care, but you just as long as you wear them 8 times.
Doesn't have to be nationally televised.
Just wear them. Just
photo
wear
op,
and and we're good.
Yeah, and if you want to mention that, in the post game that we did this for Kobe, feel free.
Yeah, if you want to work that
by
in,
all means. By all means. And then actually not a bad point. Like there's the Mamba jerseys. Those were just
those were good.
We just felt like getting a new jersey. I don't know if that's officially a city jersey. LeBron said, I'd like to wear a snakeskin jersey in the bubble.
I kind of like I feel like that should be a permanent jersey. Like the city ones change, but if you hit it out of the park, you probably like the Heat. Whenever the Heat like run through all the colors, they shouldn't switch it up, right? They should just just run it back. These are good. Just run it back.
I kind of like the old. I do like the Vice City theme Heats. I kind of like the '90s ones too. I forget when they changed it, but I'm thinking like the Tim Hardaway days. Remember, it was slightly different. It was like it was a little more
flame
cursive.
On the
exactly. Those are pretty fresh too.
Yeah, those are solid.
Yeah, those are dope.
Before they switched to like the satin or like the shiny,
like the championship jersey, the championship year, first championship.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a weird time. We've talked about that before, like those silky, like both teams in the finals had it. Like the Mavs it was just like once they get sweaty, just strange looking article clothing.
I'm not a fan.
I don't think Shaq likes wearing those one bit. He was probably wearing like armor, like by the end of like the game, like when his sweat was coated on it.
Another terrible jersey. I feel like the Mavericks keep getting theirs wrong too.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, they had like the graffiti from like Yo MTV Raps on.
Yeah, like
those stink.
Yeah, those were bad. The ones I can't even place the ones this year, but I remember thinking like, nope. Oklahoma City. I like Oklahoma City shorts this year, but I don't think they have good jerseys in general. Cleveland stunk. I forgot about Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland and Brooklyn's are piss poor. Very odd.
Brooklyn's was
I mean, like coming this year.
I don't like
Cleveland's, like Cleveland's are not good.
And I see what they were going for, but nah.
Yeah. No, Dallas is a good one for this year.
Is it?
Very strange. It's like black. It's almost like it's written in like crayon, like kind of thing. And the Nets one, they almost have like a court, like as part of like the design, like the free throw line and like the arc or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah. Do they still work in the?
Is this the white and gold one? Is this the Dallas new one?
Oh yes, their city jerseys are white and gold. Yeah,
okay, I'm thinking of.
They're not bad.
Yeah, those
don't make sense. But last year was the graffiti ones. That was silly.
I didn't like those at all.
I do like the old. I don't even know what decade. I think the 80s. But like the green one was sick too. The green with like the Dallas and
it just says Dallas on it. Yeah,
and a great logo, like the M with the hat on it.
Yeah, those were much better.
I enjoyed watching those.
Yeah.
Before I was born, but those were fresh. And I think Dirk. Oh, they kind of brought it back too. It was the green, but it was just like Mavs. I remember, like MAVS in like the mid 2000s.
Those were like off-brand of the earlier better ones.
Yeah, those Nets are good, but that's not the city edition. Those are fresh. Those are going to look good. Those are going to look good. I don't know if it's going to correlate to wins, but those are going to look good.
One thing I do like is how some of the teams, I don't think that the Celtics are going to do it, but some of the teams are bringing back like their city courts too, like older courts to match. That's a good touch.
I do like, I remember I think the Bucks did that either maybe it was 2 years ago.
They played the Celtics, the Mecca.
Yeah, brought the old Mecca court. And I was like, I like that. Like, I like the old court. Like, every once in a while, it's a nice touch.
I've wanted the Celtics to go back to at least for like a game, to do that with the lighter green. So I think people forget that the original Boston Garden was like, it was a very light, almost paisley green.
Yeah.
Now it's like not forest.
Like forest green. Yeah, it's like dark green looks like almost.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Grizzlies killed it when they did that last year.
Yeah, the Grizzlies normally knock it out of the park. They've got whoever their design team is, they just normally get it right.
I think, dude, their first jerseys were between them and the Raptors. Their first jerseys when they were expansion teams,
Vancouver ones,
phenomenal.
Those were nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the Raptors did the old court too. With
they've done that before.
Like the standing dinosaur on it.
Yeah. And I want to say that like the paint was purple, but then I can't really picture it. But yeah, it's like the old shade of purple. Well, it's like your sweatshirt actually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think those Nets, those like the Drazen Petrovic.
It's gonna look weird though on the new Brooklyn court though, if they do like the black court.
Yeah, see that's
black basketball.
Like they should.
Oh no, they're doing
that court too.
Damn, that's cool.
See, that looks good.
Yeah, that's great.
That looks good. Like that's when after you do that, how you gonna go back to like plain black and white, like gray floor, black and like it's boring.
Oh, they had the Bed-Stuy jerseys too. Those were
I didn't mind those.
I didn't like the ones that actually said Bed-Stuy, but I like the ones that had like not the bed, like the Coogee sweater,
the print on it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they just sucked when they had those jerseys.
They weren't good,
a few years ago, so no one saw it.
Those will go down as those will go down as the Dinwiddie editions.
The Dinwiddie era.
Tyler, I was thinking about this. I feel like I'm starting to see the light more and more, and I feel like and I'm sure I speak for Dan too, that if we weren't such invested fans for fucking the 31 years of our lives, I could definitely see not rooting for a team and just rooting specifically for players, because it's like, that'd be like if your family member was rooting for, I don't know, your fucking company to make it, but they didn't give a shit about you, the employee. It's the same thing. But anyways, if you had to choose like a team to root for right now, and you can't choose the Hawks, who would you root for?
No. NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I pick Lakers? Is that where
Everybody else has? Go
I was
for
gonna
it.
say, like, if it's
Join the club.
I'm trying to think, like, Lakers.
Actually, I think the Hawks is a good choice this year. I mean,
I
they
was
should
gonna
be
say,
a fun team to watch.
I think them, and I think the Suns. I think the Suns are gonna be fun to watch this year.
Yep.
So I would probably, give me the Suns. I'm on the Suns bandwagon this year.
Sounds like a finals preview to me.
I think Book takes the lead this year. Booker, Trae Young, Hawks in 7 in the finals, but Book learns a good lesson. Yeah.
Heard it here first.
I'm just afraid of the Chris Paul effect on Devin Booker. I'm afraid that they're just gonna not get along because Chris Paul's a dick.
I worried about that last year with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yep.
And I think the thing about Chris Paul, to his credit, I think he's kind of realized, like, he has the self-awareness, like, hey, if I keep yelling, I'm just going to be the old guy. Like, to these, like if I yell, bitch, I'll only be the old guy. So he knows I can bitch a little bit, but I got to be nice and buy, like, the young guy's suits. I can nag a little bit, but then I got to buy, like, stuff like, I think he's learned that. So I think he doesn't get traded there unless Booker, like, knows about it, or I'm saying he, like,
for sure
demanded the deal.
He stamped it.
I'm for sure believe they ran it by him. So and these guys all know each other, like, so I think they'll be fine.
As long as Chris Paul doesn't double team him in practice over the summer, I think he'll be good.
But here's the thing: Book said that, and then he got out on the court and dominated. So people were like, "Oh, how you gonna prepare for the real season?" He's like this, and he went out and scored like 26 points a game. So
that's true. He did. I guess he had a good point.
He held his end of the bargain. Yeah, seriously. Go ahead. My bad.
Oh no, just real quick. What do you think of Rondo coming to the Hawks?
I like it.
Shit, I forgot about that. Yeah,
I like. Honestly, all the Hawks moves.
Yeah,
like, if
they had
anything,
a good offseason.
If anything, I think they maybe added one or two too many guys, but it's a good problem to have, I think. But they needed a backup ball handler off. Like, the offense when Trae Young sat was literally, like, historically bad, like some of the worst of all time. So just anybody, like, literally any competent backup ball handler was going to be a win. So Rondo, I mean, he got to be one of the best backup, like, if not the best backup point, like, all around. And I know, like, we're not going to get playoff Rondo for 82 or 72 regular season games. I get that, but big games, prime time, he'll turn up just enough. You know what you're getting with Rondo.
I would have loved if the Celtics signed him or Isaiah. But yeah, I think. What do you think? Like 7 seed for the Hawks? Serious question.
I could see it. Yeah.
Like, they'll sneak in.
I think. If they don't make the playoffs, then somebody got hurt, like something went wrong, because I think they should definitely
something tragic happened.
Yeah, something awful happened.
You'll see a picture of, like, an empty, like, chair at the Hawks arena on Twitter, and just like, oh shit.
Or basketball just
Trae
on the
Young's
floor in front of
a basketball on one of the 3-point carts.
Just lone ball
just one.
With the spotlight shining, like, straight down on it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Sorry, this wasn't something that I had written down, but now I need to ask it. Don't Hawks games have barbers? Do I have that wrong? I could have sworn that they had barbers at Hawks games.
I can't confirm, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Good answer.
Like, it seems like a very hawkish thing to have, so it wouldn't surprise me at all.
What do you mean they have barbers?
I want to say that it's not part of the
going
NBA
around like
experience.
popcorn vendors. Like, throughout the arena.
Line up, $7. Yeah. I mean, like, it's like there's a lot of in-game, like, in-arena stuff. Like, if they said you go to
win a free haircut at halftime.
Sector 6G after the third. If Trae Young scores 30 points, kids get free haircuts. Like, that's business.
That's
half
butts in the seats. Yeah.
Were you ever at any of the games where they had a halftime performer? Because I always think about, I know it was Milwaukee, but you saw when Ja Rule was there, and, like, no one cheered.
That was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I used to, like, again, before Trae, the only time I would go to Hawks games was for the halftime concert. Like, there wasn't, like, I'm not going to see Al Horford, respectfully, but I'll go see Gucci at halftime. Yeah, I'll go watch that.
Was it weird having to see them, like, censored, though?
No, it wasn't, because I saw It was either Gucci or Jeezy. Two very different shows. But I think it was Jeezy did one at halftime, and that was kind of like the radio friendly. Damn. And then he did one after the show. It was like if you stuck around after the show, he did uncut because it was like, hey, if you had white or like kids, you went home. Sure. Everybody moved down. And he was like, yeah, let's do the old shit. And he ran through the old shit. So like that was awesome.
That seems like a pretty big name for a mid-season halftime show.
It's Atlanta, man. Like you can legit have.
One day it can be like midgets
Future.
On trampolines. And
2 Chainz,
it can be
Migos, like it can legit.
I remember Migos did one. Yeah,
somebody every day of the week.
Dan was really looking forward to Dropkick Murphys at halftime at the Celtics, but no luck.
COVID knocked that out. So
yeah, very true, very true. Let's transition to this real quick. So I think we might have touched on this briefly last time you were on, but it was still new. So you've been doing your thing with the NBA Retired Players Association too, which is really good, really cool. We actually had Scott Rochelle on our show, I assume after that, because we asked him about it. Another phenomenal dude. So
Scott's good.
Yeah, debatable. So you've had, how many interviews would you say I've had now? Like 10 or so? Decent amount.
Yeah, 10 to 15 ish. Yeah.
So you've had, I'm trying to think on the top of my head, like the Barkley one was phenomenal. Hard for it not to be. Bill Walton looked like a decent conversation.
Walton was good.
So Chris Mullin? Yep.
Chris Mullin was good too.
Did you find yourself maybe getting nervous at all before some of these things, or have you kind of caught on to it now and it's just another interview, or how's that been going in general for you?
Oh, that I get nervous every single time, man.
Yeah,
it's one of those. It never goes away. I don't know if it ever will, but. Yeah,
I mean, some of those guys are loose cannons too. Like Barkley, who knows what you're going to get?
They are, but it's one of those things. Like in this setting, like where everybody is virtual, it's like
right. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. What's he gonna do? Like he say something too crazy, like somebody backstage, like X amount. Like it's say like
fair enough.
Yeah, say some crazy stuff.
Yeah, let it rip, Chuck.
Yeah, go for it.
To do. Anyone else on, I don't know if you can even say this or not, if you can say anyone else who's coming up on the docket, but how are you? Are these weekly for the foreseeable future, or do you guys have any sort of schedule going into the holidays and stuff, or what can we expect?
It's every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
And so we didn't do one for Thanksgiving, but I don't know, what day is Christmas on? Who knows?
Friday.
Okay, so
Friday after next.
Well, I don't know, but either way, yeah, every Thursday around that, like this Thursday, next Thursday, we'll be there 5 p.m.
I did write I wrote in a letter to Scott and I said, "Hey man, what's the deal? I know it's Thanksgiving, but there's some entertainment to be had." So
yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I told Rochelle, I said we ought to drop 2 on Thanksgiving. He said no.
I mean, you'd have to compete with Washington football team Dallas, so I think it's a business decision not to.
Absolutely.
It's either watch.
I could not watch Ravens Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there is a professional football game going on right now as we speak, which I didn't realize till about 4:45 when I rolled on Twitter.
I saw people talking about it, and I was like, "Why are people talking about Monday Night Football at like 4:30?" Well, because it's on. Because Monday Night Football is on.
Of course it is. And actually, I just thought of this. I don't know if you watched any of the pregame or anything like that, but they had a terrific segment going into the game talking about comeback player of the year, comparing Alex Smith and Ben Roethlisberger this year. Did either of you guys see that?
I missed that one.
Dude, it was literally, they'd show Alex Smith with like that weird, it's like a cast I've never seen before. It's literally like there were like things going into his leg that didn't look comfortable.
They're holding his leg like from falling apart. Like
quite literally. Yeah. And then it was literally Ben Roethlisberger like stretching out his rotator cuff. Like, I'm not kidding. Like in the doctor's room. Yeah. And they're like 2 players, 1 comeback player of the year. The race is on or something. It's like, dude, this guy was very damn near amputating his leg.
Oh no, did y'all see this? And I did see this because somebody sent it to me. In this game, this Steelers-Washington game, Alex Smith's foot was bleeding like heavily. Not the one he broke, which I guess is a good sign.
That sucks.
But it was one of those, like, I saw like the picture, it was like, oh no, he didn't get like spiked in the leg like an accident. He's he should get out of the game. Like,
yeah, she called.
Wait, you talking about tonight?
Yeah, in this game tonight.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Shit.
Yeah, like And I don't know if he like stayed in the game. I don't even know how. I didn't even see the play. Somebody just like Alex Smith's foot is bleeding. I was like, did it fall off? Like, is it the bad foot that might fall off?
Not great,
but it wasn't. So
I mean, even like the first game he came back, we talked about this before. They put him in the game against Aaron Donald, and then they show like his family in the crowd, and it's just like
wife and kids. Yeah.
Good God, it's like I hope this guy throws for 500 yards. No, he got sacked 6 times, and they got smoked out.
I thought it was gonna be a thing. They were like, okay, he showed up to like summer camp or whatever. And I was like, okay, he probably had a show. Like, you show up, you get a $5 million roster bonus. He shows up, he'll probably get his bonus. They'll shake hands and walk, go each other way. Yeah. They're like, no, Alex Smith is the second string quarterback. I was like, okay, veteran leadership for Dwayne. He's not going to play. He'll be there, a good voice in his ear. No, he's out there playing. I'm like, okay, he gets a snap in front of his family. It's a great story. Everybody cheers and they take him back out. No, he's still playing. It's like 6 weeks later. He's still playing.
2nd and 8, Alex. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just like, okay. So, okay, week 17. Yeah. Then I'm just thinking of different scenarios to make Alex Smith retire. And he's just not going to retire. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah. You literally need like a doctor to come out wearing a doctor's jacket and like just grab the football and say, this man cannot be out here. Yeah. Someone's got to stop this.
I will not sign off on this.
Stop the count.
They asked Ron Rivera after the game, and he's like, yeah, if you were to ask me my medical opinion, I don't think he should be out there. But did you see how he ran the run pass option?
I was like, listen, 17 for 25. Yeah, 217 yards. You can't argue with results.
We almost won. We almost covered the spread. What do you want me to do?
We're 4-8, guys. Like, we're doing our best.
I've got it on the background right now, and they're only down a touchdown, and he's warming up. He's about to go back in. So apparently all's well that ends well.
Love it.
Good for him.
Love football.
That third string quarterback must really stink if this is like what they need to do. He must literally just not know the playbook. He started. You guys know who it is? I think it's Kyle.
I don't even know.
Not Kyle Allen. It's
it was Kyle Allen, Dwayne Haskins. Kyle Allen, I think, broke his ankle. He's out for the year. Dwayne Haskins, people told me he's been assigned to like the practice squad, so he's not even on the active. If that's, I don't know if true, but people were told me this like earlier today. So I don't know who their second string quarterback is now. I have no idea.
Don't think they have one.
Speaking of barbaric, listening to I hopped in the CPF, the close personal friends chat over the weekend. Which is another great thing that you do. So there's another free plug. You watched Beyond the Mat. You talked about that.
I did.
Dan had already watched that. Film. I decided to throw it on last night. Bro, I had a hard time getting through it. Once Jake the Snake got into his shit.
Boy.
That was, and I'm not like squeamish. I'm not like, I don't really get overtaken by movies and whatever. That was a lot.
It was.
That may have been the most depressing life to ever be recorded in the history of like a human.
I think what made it so much worse, or I guess not even more brutal to watch. It's one of those things like Jake the Snake. He's not still riding high on the hog, like thinking he's still 1990 superstar, right? He's very aware of the fall. I think that's the most sobering part.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, no, I'm in a Ramada Inn. I cheated on my wife, and I don't talk to my kids or my father. But outside of that, you can say things are looking up for Jake.
Oh boy. Well, what's crazy is that's a pretty old documentary. I'm pretty sure it's from like early 2000s, right? Or even that earlier.
Yeah, it's 99.
It was 99, I think.
It hasn't gotten much better. He's been on a few. I think he was on Joe Rogan or something, like within like 5 years.
Terry Funk is still wrestling.
Fucking crazy. Crazy he's still alive, let alone wrestling. What was I gonna say? But I think it was a Netflix or something. It was Diamond Dallas Page like resurrected like Jake the Snake's life or something through. It was through DDP Yoga, which makes you think it's just a huge plug for DDP Yoga, because Jake the Snake looked like he needed a lot more than a yoga routine to get back on his feet. But it is what it is. One of the great lines was, I think it was like, he's talking about like negotiating his contract or something. He's like, I need this, and that. No, yeah, I'm not showing up at the arena tonight unless you hand me some crack. Period.
Listen, and the man got requirements.
I was gonna say very relatable. Very relatable.
I have a list. You have it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sure. He can't want some crack.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, and it's just one of the random Atlanta things since you said that. I swear to God, I was driving to the store. I think it was that must have been in the last year. And I'm at a stop sign, and the car in front of me, the two doors open, like the front doors open, and two enormously large white men step out. And I noticed one of them immediately is Diamond Dallas Page. Like I know it's just one of those, only one person in the world looks like Diamond Dallas Page. And they did the
He'll be back. Either that or he quit.
Yeah, he's done. It was I don't know who I couldn't recognize the other one, but it was Diamond, and they did like the whole, hey, sorry, guy. Like they were getting something out of the back of the car, and I was like, take all the time you need, Diamond Dallas. Like, it's Diamond Dallas Page. I said, fuck Dan. I don't like that guy. No.
I'm back. My bad.
Wait, can you repeat that for Dan, Tyler?
Yeah,
I said I hate
Dan. No, not one. I was driving. A car stopped, and in front of me, at a stop sign, two very large white men got out. And as soon as one of them got out, I recognized. I was like, "That's Diamond Dallas Page." Oh, because there's only one person in the world that looks like Diamond Dallas Page.
Yes.
And I thought they were switching drivers at first, but they both like looked in like the back. They gave it like the, hey, sorry, and I was like, it's okay, Diamond Dallas Page. It's okay, my man. And then he went on with his day, and that's my encounter with Diamond Dallas Page.
Tyler's burying the lead. The other guy was actually the Undertaker as well.
Oh shit! Scott on his way to bury Diamond Dallas Page.
I did see Scott Hall at a Publix one day. Scott Razor Ramon Hall, and it was.
He's another one.
It was a legit. Yeah, because I was like, is that? Oh boy, that is Razor Ramon, isn't it?
Wait, what happened to him?
Saying
he's just had some hard times. I think
it's so sad.
He just had some hard times.
It really is. Like the way they show Jake the Snake. Remember, he's doing like that local. He had another great line. He was doing some local show, and he's like, these people would vote me mayor of the city tomorrow, no problem, which is sad but true. But Scott Hall has one. I think it was like an E60 or something. He showed it. I'm gonna laugh, but it was so sad. Like he showed up to an arena just like beyond belligerent. Like he had to have two guys like literally carry him out there. People were just booing and like laughing at him. I didn't even think he wrestled. Like that shit is crazy. But a lot of these guys, well, unless they die, a lot of these guys do have like a resurrection story, like a comeback story at some point. But
I hope so. It's like the sport, and I think you saw it with like Terry Funk.
Oh yeah.
Like the doctor was like, I don't know how you're walking now.
Yeah.
He was like, you've got like 2 months left in this knee. He was like, what about the other one? He was like, that was gone 2 months ago. He's like, I don't know how you're not like crawling on the floor. And Terry Funk's like, interesting. So I can wrestle Thursday? And the guy's like, no, you can't wrestle ever again.
Can I?
And Terry Funk's like, I got you loud and clear.
Yeah. It's like Booby Miles at like the MRI doctor. Can I play?
And listen, the leg's not attached anymore, Booby, so I can play.
What you want to do? The other good part of that documentary, going back to kind of like we were talking about with Alex Smith, is the Rock and Mankind's like interview. I always found that so bizarre because, that was
amazing.
It was. Film. So like 1999,
unbelievable.
I was 10, like 9 or 10. I was right on the verge of like, I know wrestling isn't 100% real. I've come to the realization of that. But it's just so weird seeing. It's almost like seeing like your teachers out in public, like seeing these guys like behind the scenes. Because the line was literally like, "All right, like I heard you went to Disney World. You ride all the rides. Gives like a little thing on the chin.
Rock, and then you're a good boy.
Yeah, tied in handcuffs, just getting whacked with a chair,
just bloodying his head in front of his wife and children.
And then the cameraman was in a tough position. The documentary guy too.
Oh yeah,
because it looks like he was literally the seat next to his mixed family, covering their kids, doing this and that.
Yeah, pan up to this another chair shot. Let's get the daughter crying, and the son, and the wife, and another chair. Like it's just like keep it rolling. You're doing beautiful. Yep. This is great.
And then after the match, pick up right where they left off. Hey, I never did ask you what was your favorite ride.
Yeah, what? You never did tell me what your middle name was. The Rock.
I would not. If I'm Mick Foley's kids, I can't picture myself being a big Rock guy after that match. I don't care what you say off camera.
I read he was supposed to hit him. Do you know how many times he hit him with the chair?
I don't know the number. Alarmingly high, I would assume.
I think you said it on your last episode. I want to say it was like 13.
It was 11. He hit him 11. He was supposed to hit him 5 times,
which is still 5 times too many. If you've ever tried
it was like if you normal when a chair comes into a wrestling match, you can like a guy's gonna get 2, maybe 3 times. Like it's not there for nothing. So they were gonna hit like, okay, like 5 times. Like that's up in the ante. And The Rock just got into the character. And there's one scene which I read about it and watched it, and then I went back and watched it again. You can see Mick Foley stands up with his back to him, and he's like, hit me in the back. And The Rock yells at him, no, turn around. And he turns around and he hits him in the head again. So The Rock, that's one of those. Listen, we're not gonna be friends. Don't talk to my wife or my kids or me no more after this.
Yeah,
like we can work together. You did what you felt you had to do, but don't talk to my kids no more.
Yeah, don't expect a Christmas card.
Yeah, we're not cool. Give me in the head with a chair 11 times.
So I remember, like, I don't know, Tyler, were you into wrestling, like when you were a kid?
Oh yeah,
or like
I was like all in.
Same. So that's why that documentary was so like, no way, like like actually like eye opening. But I don't know.
That was one of those that took me
simpler
back
times.
To like the time when I was a fan of wrestling. And I don't have a segue, but I did really enjoy like the guy that took his shirt off and jumped on the trampoline with the weights. You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember. I don't know his name, but
the main focal points were that guy. I forget his real name, but Puke had a nice. He was like the first one too.
Puke was the first one.
They went right into.
He's gonna puke.
It was like if you didn't, I knew him because I watched wrestling, like I said. But if you just happen to scroll through Netflix and say, "Oh, this looks interesting," bold move to open up with Puke to like the general like fan base. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
It's one of those like, hey, we're just letting you know what you're in for. Like, if you're in, you're in. And I was like, didn't Draws get paralyzed? And it was like it was like, hey, 3 weeks after this film, Draws got. I was like, I remember paralysis. It's fucked up. But I remember when he got paralyzed. I remember when Buff Bagwell got paralyzed. Like, wrestling used to be.
It's brutal.
Wild times.
Hard to believe it's fake.
Right. Tell Mick Foley that.
Yeah, no shit.
On a recent episode, I made a off-color joke about Owen Hart.
Oh boy. Let's ask Tyler. Owen Hart jokes are still off limits, no?
Let me hear the joke.
All right.
I didn't think it was a joke. Go ahead.
I don't know. Yeah. So basically, we were talking to some friends of ours who are big fans of wrestling, still to this day.
Big wrestling fans, like nerds.
And I said, wow, it's crazy that what happened to Owen Hart was just a setup to get to a storyline with him and The Undertaker. And they really wanted to sell that.
I'll say this. That is a solid joke. But if you're talking to like real wrestling heads, that ain't gonna fly with them.
No, man. like this kid, he's gonna listen to it. He's filming like wrestling promos like in his room and stuff and DMing us, and it's getting to an unhealthy level. He's basically setting up for WrestleMania, like a cage match at WrestleMania.
He gonna challenge SOP to a Hell in a Cell. Yeah. I quit. Yeah.
Dopey won't quit. I'll give him that. He'll go in the Hell in a Cell, but he won't quit. He'll die.
Going off the cage like Mankind.
He's gonna study film like watching Beyond the Mat, like
Belichick.
Yeah. Like how those guys used to watch Last Dance in the bubble.
I thought it was when they were showing that house show that Jake the Snake was doing. Like, first of all, did they say like what was that, like a fucking Elks Lodge or something like that? Or what was that venue?
They have him in Nashua, New Hampshire all the time. Like
crazy,
local, like wrestling matches.
And to your point, Tyler, like you were saying, it's like, no, he's got all the self-awareness to know this is what it's come down to now. And then when the show's over, or when he was prepping, the camera shows him eating like a fucking cheeseburger and then pissing into like a wooden barrel or something. He turns back to the camera and he's like, "Oh, you guys just gonna film me pissing?
You got me pissing, huh?" Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, he goes into like a Plymouth. I don't know what those minivans are, but it's like, damn. Because they ask him someone after the show asked him for a picture or an autograph, and he goes, "No, honestly, I just take a shower and it's on to the next show." And then they show him pulling off in their Plymouth Olympia, whatever you call that van. Yeah.
Very Rodman-esque, pulling off in his motorcycle into his bender in Vegas.
The one thing, like Jake the Snake, I could not laugh at was him and his father, man. Like that was legit, that was some sad shit, man.
Yeah, it was.
Like
that was the part that was toughest.
Yeah. Yep. And like when they asked his father, like, hey, what do you think of your son? He's like, I think he's a nice guy. I think he's well dressed. It's like, do you love your son? I think he's well
Jury's
dressed. Yeah, I think
He's a firm handshake.
He's an Aries. I think he's a father. Like that was legit brutal. And Jake the Snake broke it down. It's like, listen, I went into it to prove him wrong, to prove he'd have to love me. And he was like, guess what? Didn't matter. He still doesn't love me. And I was like, God damn, man.
Yep. And then he was like estranged from his daughter or something like that too, right?
Yeah.
And they bring her back at the end for some reason.
Well, it was like they hadn't talked in 4 years.
Yeah.
They met up on camera for Beyond the Mat. And then it was like the director was like, he talked to his daughter for 5 minutes and went to his room and he hasn't seen her since. Like that was the reunion. It's like man, it's like it's tough, but he's trying in the way he knows how. It's just not like, and his daughter was like, hey man, like I'm not 4 anymore. Like if we're gonna have a relationship, you got to pull some weight. And he was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, I mean, and this isn't a joke, his dad set a very low bar because of all the stuff that we talked about. And so I don't know, I guess in some ways at least it wasn't, from what they said, at least it wasn't like a violent relationship. He was just absentee as you could possibly be.
Yeah. I mean, and it's one of those like, it could be worse, but boy, oh boy, when he's in there just like going through it and she's just like not buying it because she's like, I've just heard it so many times. It's like, man, oh man, this probably shouldn't be. I probably shouldn't be watching this conversation between a father and daughter.
Yeah, it was tough because like
I have to agree.
Back in those days too, the documentaries now, I feel like, they're more produced and they're over Hollywoodized. And I feel like that documentary, it was pretty raw.
Yeah,
I think that's what makes it. It was bare bones.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite wrestler back in the day, by the way?
Like in that era, I really like I remember like in the match he lost to The Rock, he lost the title, but I remember the match before that he won it, and I was so I love Mankind. I like The Rock. Stone Cold, of course. D'Lo Brown. I always loved D'Lo Brown.
It's my dad's favorite wrestler. I swear to God.
Yeah, D'Lo Brown was a man. Buff Bagwell. I love Buff the Stuff.
Upset.
Oh, actually, real quick. The other great part was I remember Coco Beware had that random like part in it too, for some reason.
Still had the parrot, man.
A lot of these guys either granted, some of them die, but I think that the most common denominator, worst case scenario, they get fat. They all get fat. Like that's like if you leave wrestling just putting on a few pounds, I'd call it a win. Like he got fat. He had his parrot.
But like Coco Beware, he's like unaware. Like he's having a blast.
Right.
He's the one. He's in the hotels. Like I still got the bird. I'm still Coco Beware. I'm wrestling tonight. I got it going on. Jake the Snake is like, I don't have it going on. My dad hates me. I'm gonna wrestle and I have a snake in a bag.
I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah, that's just the Jake the Snake.
Yeah, and tomorrow's Tuesday.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll get back to it. Rinse, lather, repeat.
Yep.
Upset of the century, and I've seen this floated around on social media, is that Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of the nicest people and is not racist.
He played a good role in The Longest Yard then.
Well cast.
Yes, that's true.
If he's not a racist,
very well cast
racist,
movie.
he's a great actor. If he's not a racist, he's a great actor.
It was Stone Cold. Bill Goldberg was one of the racist prison guards.
Yeah, he was.
They had a couple other wrestlers too, I think.
Kevin Nash was there.
And then just a bunch of actors who I would think would be racist, or at least play it very well.
I think where I saw it was just that he's been like heavily in support of BLM, and I don't know. He just seems like
and Kevin Nash, really, like Steve.
Yeah, Kevin Nash,
Stone Cold, and Kevin Nash have both been like with the shits.
I was like, damn, that I wasn't expecting that. And the scene where him and where's Mankind and The Rock were talking before the match, Stone Cold comes by and is like, oh, your kids are here too. Like they're gonna see you get your ass whooped as well.
So how about that? Yeah.
Oh, I have kids too.
They watch me get
front
whooped.
row. Yeah. They love it.
One thing that has been a significant change since we last spoke. There's a new head of the country. Do you think Twitter's been a little more tolerable since then?
No.
You think it's worse or the same?
I think it's the same.
You think so?
I would argue worse.
I was gonna say if it ain't better, it's worse. I was thinking that. I was like, but I think it's because it's still one, like the elections aren't done. Like we got big elections coming here in Georgia, and I'm sure in other places, so it's not done yet. And two, there's still people like they haven't counted all of West Virginia, so it. No, I haven't seen the improvement I was hoping. Maybe after inauguration when it's like official, maybe.
See how that goes.
Right. If January is even a real month, who knows?
I don't know. Maybe
I'm not looking forward to it.
Maybe all the people that I hated on Twitter just went to Parler, so I don't see them anymore. Or whatever or Clubhouse, whatever the fuck it's called.
Parler's there. What is that? Just like a separate social media platform?
Yeah, for those types of people, essentially.
What Parler?
Gotcha. I saw
I
Aubrey,
think it's for
Aubrey Huff is big on moving over to Parler. That guy's a nut bar.
That's
one of the strangest stories.
Parler.
Oh my God. I never knew how crazy. When I hear Aubrey Huff, I'm like, oh, that guy used to play for the Giants or whatever. And then one day I just searched him on his Twitter page and it's like,
he the worst.
Off the reservation, dude. He is such a loser.
Just by the numbers, he's not alone in baseball. He just talks about it, right? Like he's not the only one that thinks and talks the way he does.
Yeah,
he's just the one dumb enough to tweet about it. So,
yep.
But no, he's a horrible human being.
Well, it's funny because like I don't follow him. I know this sounds stupid, but like I don't want to give him the whatever of my follow. So I'll have to search him every couple of weeks just for entertainment purposes, really.
just to see what Alb is up to.
I have a couple of guys like that on my list, but it's like, God, these guys really just stink. Like this is not a good time.
That's what I did with old Donnie T. I don't follow him anymore, and I'm like, maybe that's why to me it's like not as bad, and I don't have.
He's been blocked forever, man.
There's just something about Donald Trump retweeting crazy videos from Uncle Eddie from vacation, like days before the holiday, where it's like, I can't not watch this. I don't support it, but I can't not, have a conversation with my loved ones about it.
Play. Yeah.
What am I? Yeah. It's crazy. Hey, content is king. We all know that for sure, but very crazy time. Here's my last question for you, Trill, before we let you go. My co-host is obviously in a very strange idea of The Wire. And we've had this conversation, 5 seasons. He likes season 2 the best. It's all been wrapped up. I don't know if I've ever asked you this or seen you talk about it. Where do you rank The Wire as a whole among like your go-to shows that you've seen from beginning to end?
I think I've been asked and I thought about it, and I'll say I don't know if I can truly rank a show until I watch it twice. Like just honestly. Like if I'm gonna really rank a show, I think it's fair to watch it twice. But the reason I haven't watched it twice because I have to watch season 2 to watch it twice. So now I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch it twice.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I might go 1 to 3.
If you've seen it once, yeah. If you are like, all right, I get the gist.
I enjoyed 1, 3, 4, 5. Those are fine, and I can just forget 2 ever happened.
I think I tried to do a rewatch somewhat recently. I think it's still on my HBO Max. I'm up to season 1, episode 6, and I just can't do it. It's just too slow. I think it's a good show.
Yeah.
I just don't really like it. I don't know what else to say. It's that simple. I think it's a really good show
for sure. Yeah.
I just don't enjoy it very much. But I don't know.
I think it's how you guys talked about J. Cole last time. You can say that someone's talented without enjoying it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I do enjoy it. I just don't enjoy seeing it.
I think I say I just don't enjoy seeing it. Which is
seeing, hearing, reading about it.
Yeah, no thanks.
Tyler,
I might just binge like the episode descriptions on HBO Max.
Yeah, like
just go through. Oh yeah, I forgot
Ziggy
about that.
Stinks,
Cool.
Ziggy Stinks, Ziggy.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the gist of season 2.
Got you. Cool. Go ahead,
Bro, you gotta watch Breaking Bad, Tyler. I think you would like it.
I've never seen it. It's either gonna be between that and I think The Sopranos. I'm not sure which. It's gonna be one of those probably for the next, but I'm not sure which one.
Can't miss.
Yeah, people are saying it's like you're not gonna go like whichever one is second, the other first, the other will be second. So it's just really which one's first. I don't know which one yet.
It's interesting because Sopranos is good, and it came out around the same time as The Wire, I'm pretty sure. So it still holds up like 20 years or whatever now is. I think it's probably my number one. Okay. It's good. You'd like it. Okay. And it's 5 quick seasons. A lot
of good Sopranos talk, so I may go Sopranos.
Yep, very good show.
If you go Sopranos, I may do the same thing because I haven't seen it either.
Mm.
And I
Yeah, I've
definitely
never
need to knock
never
that out.
seen parts of it. I don't
Yeah.
think I've never seen a single episode, so it would be all new for me with Sopranos.
I'll give you Soapy's HBO Max logins. It's definitely worth checking out.
Perfect.
Very good show.
Tyler, do you have time for 2 from me? These
Sure.
are very important.
Hit me.
Probably not, but okay. The
I
first
should have
one.
said no. I should have said
No, the first one is did you happen to see the video I sent you in the Patreon thing?
I saw. I did not watch it though.
Okay. Do you remember
I did
that
see
at
it
all?
though.
Hmm.
I don't remember. Like I remember you saying, and I was like,
either.
I was like, I just don't. I missed this one. Like,
So it was like early 2000s, and yeah, it's called Man versus Beast. I don't know how fucking long it lasted. I could have sworn I saw like one of the videos said season 2, and I was like, how the fuck did that get approved? But the reason I bring it up is because like you guys said earlier, content is king. You watch the Mike Tyson, Nate Robinson, all that stuff. What were your general thoughts on that?
Nate Robinson got his ass whooped. That was my first general thought.
That's a specific thought.
2, Mike Tyson showed up ready for a fight, and Roy Jones Jr. did not. Those are my 2 main takeaways. Mike Tyson showed up.
Mike Jones, that'd be good.
Who? No, he showed up to like fight. Roy Jones Jr. showed up to dance.
Yeah,
and get a check, which I'm fine with it. But they showed up for 2 different things.
Yeah, which one would you have rather been in that situation? Roy Jones like getting pummeled by Mike Tyson for the full whatever, or Nate getting knocked out?
Oh, anyone but Nate.
Yeah, I know Roy Jones probably just started like breathing inside his chest again, like from all those like rib shots, but ain't no meme of him. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no meme of him laid out on the floor. So he recuperated. He recuperated at home, away from the camera. So I'd rather be Roy by far. Also, he could say I fought 6, 8, whatever rounds with Mike Tyson. I didn't get knocked out.
I think with like the reception that got, I feel like that's gonna. Well, I mean, we saw apparently Mayweather and the other Paul are gonna fight in February.
Yeah, that's so weird. I saw that too. And I thought this whole time it was Logan Paul. I didn't know there were 2 of them. Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
I said he's fighting again. They were like, no, this is the other one. I said the other one.
Who's the one who has the YouTube show? Logan Paul, right? Or do they both have a YouTube show?
Jake definitely does. I don't know about Logan. Do you know Tyler?
I honestly have no idea.
Again, I don't. I thought they were the same person, man.
One and the same.
Yeah, Jake Logan Paul.
So the reason I bring that up in relation to the video. So for the audio listeners, if you guys look up Man versus Beast, there's a video. This is very loose relation, but you should look it up if you have a chance. Basically, it's animals versus people, and it's trying to prove who's stronger. And in that video that I sent you, it was a sumo
orangutan, wasn't it?
It was, it was an orangutan versus a sumo wrestler in a tug of war. I just wanted to see if you thought that was realistic at all, or if that was like,
well, who won? I did because I saw the headline, but I didn't see like the whole video. Who won?
I'm really not huge into spoiler alerts, but
let it rip.
The orangutan won handedly.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close. But the thing is, here's what I really was curious about was if that was somehow real. How did they even tell the orangutan like, all right,
his lines
on the on the count of 3, but not a second sooner.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Smart. If they're smart as humans, then they should know, right?
That's fair.
Or maybe it was just like, listen, when he starts pulling, if you don't want your arms to get pulled off, then you should start pulling too.
We're on his time.
Yeah, it's like 40 second, the 40-yard dash now. They don't say like go,
right?
You just run. They started when you start.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
really?
I did learn that at the combine. Now it used to be like because they tell you to start and people are like it's discrepancy. So now you'll see the guy. They'll get up there, they'll get set, and they run when they're ready. And it's like we'll track it. Like, don't worry, you just run. We'll track it. And I was like, that feels much better.
They start that rule because of you. You kept.
Listen, you run a 3.8, a 3.9 a couple times. You know what I'm saying? They want to call it fugazi. I'll do it again. They say it's the shoes. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, you got to watch it because it's hilarious. I thought going into it, I thought that it would be like a fair fight. And again, it's probably a fake video. It has like MXC vibes. I don't know if you ever watched that growing up.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
That most extreme
challenge. Yeah.
Very similar,
Extremely
like camera work and quality. But yeah, you would think that it would be like a decently close fight. As soon as the orangutan starts like tugging a little bit, the sumo wrestler is like, yeah, I don't have a fucking chance. And then he just he like frog splashes into the mud pit down below. And they have him, I mean, it's in a very bizarre like setting too. They're on like a playground with a mud pit below. Strange.
I mean, that's where you do orangutan versus human fights. Like where else are you supposed to fight in an orangutan versus sumo wrestler?
I think they had like green screen and stuff back then. You just had to. Yeah,
it might be real. Like they didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
they couldn't.
Warner Brothers Studio Lot 6, man versus
Lot 7.
Yeah.
It's very similar feeling also to when they used to do Ripley's Believe It or Not. You know, that guy would come out. That guy would come out and ask like, "Oh, have you ever seen those videos where it's just a compilation of 30 questions that guy rips off?" And it's like, "Oh, have you ever thought what it would be like to be a horse without a tail or something like that?" But it has.
You think the moon is made of cheese? Yeah.
Was that who was the host of that? Was that Dean Cain, the guy who played Superman?
For a while, he was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was on TBS.
He definitely was.
Vividly. Big fan. That's a show they should bring back. The original one.
Bring somebody in the studio. It's like he's gonna try to piss out of his eyeballs and set the world record. Yeah, and people would go crazy.
Yes. Again, simpler times.
TV used to be different. This is the last one that I had for you.
Thank God. Go ahead.
What is the best Christmas present you've ever given or received, or both?
Ooh. That's a good one.
I know we're getting into religion on this episode.
Yeah, I don't really discuss that.
You don't feel comfortable answering this.
The best Christmas gift, I think the best gift I've ever given was, I had an ex that she liked. It was a jazz musician, and he was like, his name's Art Tatum. He's relatively big, but it's harder to find like collections of his. You can find him on other people's work and stuff, but it's hard to find like only his stuff. So
you brought him directly to her house?
I found Art Tatum. He had been dead for several years, but I didn't let that stop. No, I found like a couple of his like original albums. She was like a record player album type.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Yeah, I got those. Funny thing about that story is we broke up in between the time I ordered those and she got those. So it was like December 26th, like December 27th. I'm like, hey, did you get the yes? Okay.
Nice. Did you get that Tatum Tatum mixtape I sent you?
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah. Wow, that's uncomfortable.
But listen, on my behalf, a great gift.
Sure. I'd agree. Thoughtful gift. Soapy, take notes. We have our staff Christmas party coming up soon.
Best gift I've received.
Tough.
Yeah, I remember how old I was, but I remember not quite a refrigerator box, but an enormous box. And I open up the box, and it is my dad put like an old suit coat and suit pants in there. And so I thought that was the gift. And he was like going along with it. It was just stuffing in there. He was like, well, hold it up. Like, hold the, so he made me like, hold the, and it was his old, like, it wasn't going to fit me at all. But I'm just like, he got me this jacket that's way too big. And like these pants that don't fit at all. And he was like, I think it's like a belt and some shoes in there. And I went in there and it was a PlayStation. It was the best gift I've ever got.
Oh, damn.
He buried the lead. The old man buried the lead. So
I thought it was going to be something way more sentimental, but that works
no.
too.
It was the most sentimental thing ever.
Yeah.
A PlayStation.
I thought you were going to say like, I wore this suit back in when I first.
Do you know who that suit was? Barack Obama.
Right. You haven't heard of him yet, but wait till 2008.
Yeah, no, he got me good with that. He was like, yeah, I think
That's pretty cool.
Shoes and some belts, and I went in there and dug under the paper, and it was the old PlayStation.
That's a classic.
Yeah,
classic.
That was a good
classic bait and switch.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were gonna say that like you opened up the well, what was the packaging that it came in?
It was a box that was way too big for a PlayStation. That's why it threw me off.
That's classic. Yeah,
threw me off.
It would have been funny if it was like a suit. You keep going. It's a notebook, a pen, and then like a job application.
He's like, yeah, no, listen, you're 9 now. Like, it's time you pull your weight around here.
You're approaching double digits, Tyler.
Yeah,
Let's go. My goodness. No LinkedIn. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, what? In a rent application. That was really the only thing at the bottom. I had to move out.
An invoice.
Yeah, it was
the last 9 years of life.
Yeah, mortgage. My half of the mortgage for the past 9 years.
Your hospital bill from 9 years ago.
You remember that time you got sick? You were 4. I didn't.
You think labor and delivery is free? Young Whiskers.
Yeah, you owe me $187,047.
Think your mother did this out of good of her own heart? Does cost money. That's a great answer.
By the way, bro, I didn't want to leave without saying this. I heard you say that you think it's too late to learn how to swim. I can personally attest. I just took swimming lessons last year.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And you're right that it feels like kind of weird and whatever, but when you learn, it is fun. I've always wanted to learn how to swim.
So you call yourself a swimmer? Like you're do you still like swim and stuff like normally?
Yeah. So I live in like a townhouse complex, and we have a pool. So last year when there wasn't a fucking virus going around,
sure,
it was right after I took lessons in like the summer of 2019 at my local YMCA. And dude, it was funny. It was like 6 other people like our age. Actually, some of them were older, and like they brought their little toddlers with them too, which was hilarious.
Nah, I got too much pride for that. Yeah. Fuck that.
Trust me. You have to trust me, because at the end of it, out of I think it was 8 people that were there, it was only me and one other girl that finished. Everyone else dropped out.
Yeah, see that I would be one of the people that dropped out.
Tough class. Yeah. Like they drowned?
They died, yeah.
They survived.
Oh, okay. Well, you fail a swimming class. Like,
yeah, listen, it's not a lot of room for interpretation. Yeah.
Pass or fail.
Well, actually, that's true.
Yeah.
I never got an explanation. They just weren't there.
I haven't heard from them since.
Whatever happened to Jake?
Seen them since.
We don't talk about Jake. I thought about. I just think it's like, listen, I don't know how to swim.
Yeah,
I've accepted it. Like I guess people. Hey, what are you gonna do if you crash
out of a boat?
Wait, if you fall into a boat? What if you're flying to Europe and the plane then I die? Like, what do you mean? What am I gonna? I die. That's what happens.
My body, my choice. Someone argue.
It's a temple, damn it, and I get to decide. I thought I'm good. I think it's just one of those things. Like you reach a point, you're like, okay, I know what I know. I know what I don't know. I know what I'd like to know. I know what I'm good not knowing. I think that's one of the things
That's a great way to live.
I'm just good not knowing.
Spoken like a true Lake Lanier truther, if I've ever heard one.
Survivor.
Yes, I'm actually at Lake Lanier right now.
Oh, word. Nice.
Next time we got to talk about the Bermuda Triangle, by the way, because I think people forget about that.
It's safer than Lake Lanier. Much safer.
I have no reason not to believe that.
We haven't heard. I feel like that was mentioned a lot in the 90s, and then it just went away.
Lake Lanier happened. Like Bermuda Triangle was doing you know what I'm saying? And Lake Lanier said, watch this. And then Bermuda Triangle was like, it's like AAA ball now, man. We got
Torch
pros.
passed.
Yeah,
Hold my
got
drink.
Pros now. Yeah, well, watch this.
All right. Enough. Well, Mr. Withers, thanks again for jumping on, man. Before we let you go, where can everyone find you? I know you have 100 different things going on right now.
Yeah, too damn many. Twitter.com is, I guess, is the hub. Twitter, Tyler Am. Patreon, Tyler Am. Twitch, Trilly Whiskers. Laser Wolf. Sundays, midnight, Adult Swim. Legends Live, Thursday, 5 p.m.
Deke Puckley.
Ham contest to be determined.
Deke Puckley and Slam Dunkley.
Well, I got air now. I got air. Slam actually got blackballed off Madden.
Oh my god!
What?
Yeah. No, this is a series. I created Slam Dunkley a quarterback, and I put him on the Vikings, and he played out his first, like on their first contract, they only make it like 3 years. Like it's a video game. You get to free agency quicker. In my 3 years, I went 1-1 in the playoffs. Second year, 1-1, made the conference championship, lost in the conference championship. Third year, we won the Super Bowl. So third year, I'm a 90, I think 4 overall ranked. He's 23 years old, unrestricted free agent. And the computer re-signs for me. Like just it's like, yo, you want to stay in Minnesota? Like you're happy.
Boy.
I didn't like that. So I demanded my release. I was like, okay, I'm demanding my release. I'll sign where I want to sign. Whole offseason goes by. Week 1, nobody signed me. Week 2, nobody signed me. Week 3, week 4, draft goes by. And then it's like, well, you got to retire. I was like, are you serious? It's like 93 years old. You're 23, fresh off a championship. Nowhere to go but down. So they literally, and it was like, hey, you retired. You only played 3 years, but you were now retired. So he was literally blackballed from the league.
Boy.
Trilly Sanders. Well, no.
Listen, Madden more realistic than ever, man. They blackballing quarterbacks like it's that new patch they put on there is something else.
Yeah. $60 well spent. All right. We'll see you. I don't know. Maybe we'll see you another time, but we'll follow everything you got going on, and we'll see everyone else next time. Peace.
Yes, sir. Thanks, bro.
Thank you guys.